Tez FM presents Cooking with Tez, with me, Larry Tezekian. Today's recipe, Tabouleh. Enjoy. Hey, all right, I am making Tabouleh, so hopefully this video comes out right. I'll have to edit a lot of it, but the ingredients are, you need a half a cup, unless you double the recipe, half a cup of fine Bulgar wheat. They were out of fine, so I got medium. It'll be all right as long as I don't use too much. 4 Roma tomatoes, diced, really diced. An English cucumber, diced. Those have to go in a strainer to let the fluids come out, and you just salt them. It'll dry them all up. Then 2 bunches of fresh parsley. Okay, this is the Bulgar wheat, by the way. Green onions. It says 4. I just go with whatever blends right. This is my Bulgar wheat. You have to rinse it and soak it. That stuff will swell up double the size. Note to self, don't use a lot of Bulgar. And no matter what, make sure it soaks completely, because if you eat it and it hasn't expanded, guess where it expands? In the belly. And then what happens? Do you really want to know? It's a stream of Bulgar projecting from your mouth. It's happened to me. Seriously, it wasn't fun. Okay, what else? So yeah. So we have the 4 Romas. We got the English cucumber. I hear they're awesome, and they don't like shrivel up in the fridge as fast. They don't get mushy. Then, of course, what would tabouleh be without fresh mint? I hope that's coming out right. I may have it mirrored. I don't know. Either way. And then you need olive oil. I don't know if Ashley has more, but here's some in a skull, because, you know, it's Ashley. So, but there's olive oil. And lots and lots and lots of lemons. Fresh squeezed lemons is best, rather than having seeds to take out. I keep wanting to look over here. I need to look over there. There it is, right there. Probably should raise this up a little more too. I'm not a filmmaker, can you tell? There, that's better. Now let's see if you can see this. All right, there is the parsley. Can I put a light on this thing? Nope, it's after the fact. That's all right. Why does it seem so dim in here? Oh. See if that helps. A little bit. Okay, so what you got to do is you don't cut. People will cut, they'll use a food processor, take it from an Armenian. All right, this has been in the family. You pluck each tip. It's okay to get a little stem, but this is the tedious part, you know, because you don't get anywhere when you take shortcuts, you sacrifice flavor. If you were to chop up the stems, it can have more of a bitter taste. I just choose not to do it. There are Syrians and Arabs that will make it that way. I don't even think this is an Armenian recipe, to be honest, but I think it's more Arabic, Syrian. But anyway, so as I'm plucking these off, we'll get back and I'll show you. I'm not done yet. You think you're done? No, you're not done. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, different angle, because I don't have a tripod that bends down for some reason. I'm using Ashley. So, my favorite knife for all my chopping needs. Always make sure you get a good edge. This one already has a decent edge. All right. Now, this is all the plucked. This is not even a tenth of all the stuff I have, but this is all plucked. Then, believe it or not, you got to do this. Not too fine. You don't want it to be like mush, but just enough to break it up, because in the tabouleh salad, this is more like the, quote, lettuce of the salad, if you will, the greens, right? And the reason we chop and pluck, because the sharp blade, you chop it and it keeps its crispness. And it also does a great job. So now it's fine, okay? I'm gonna do the rest of these and I'll be back right after that. Another thing I neglected to tell you, if you notice, this parsley is very perky, shall we say? Sometimes you can't get fresh, you know, where it's fresh, it's kind of wilted. There is a trick that works most of the time, and that is you take your parsley, you put it in a bowl, and you put ice on top of it, coat it with ice, and then add some cold water. Not too much, and then just stir it around. That cold water will bring it all up and make it nice and perky. Again, this is my second batch. All right, I still have, it's labor intensive, I'm telling you. I think I started this at, it's 2:25 now in the afternoon. I probably started this at 2, but we'll say 2:10, all right? I would imagine this is about a 2-hour process maybe, but I'll let you know. All right, back to the parsley. And that's the rest of it. So, scoop her on up. Another reason why I love this knife is you can just scoop up your stuff, put it in there. Of course, with every good cook comes a mess. It's just the way it is, but hey, I'm having fun. Okay, next we're gonna do, let's dice the tomatoes and cucumbers because they have to drain. So we're gonna do that, all right? So, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Just put a dang chair here so I can be at your level. Still not perfect, but hey, I'm not a perfect kind of guy. I try. What am I looking for? Let's raise me up. You raise me up. All right, that's gonna have to work. So, English cucumber, peel, cut the ends off. I would cut it to where this is like universal. As you can see, there's hardly many seeds in this. The other reason I use it is because I don't know how your experience has been, but when I go grocery shopping, the produce, if you can find them ripe, they lack flavor. It's like watered down. These English cucumbers are full of flavor. The minute I peeled the peel off, it was like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. So you cube them, okay? So you take it, you're gonna cut it down lengthwise or in half, all right? Seeds. Now, what I do, because of, and it's only because of a moisture factor, you don't want your stuff to be so wet, you know? So if you take a spoon, preferably a smaller one, and you just go down here and you just kind of make a trough just to get most of that seed out. Do the same with the other. Doesn't have to be perfect, just as long, you see how wet that is, right? I mean, you can see how wet, that's very wet. So now by doing that, you've taken away most of the moisture. Then, just happen to have a garbage disposal right there. Then you're gonna take it again, turn them over, and you're gonna cut it in fourths, each half. So you're gonna cut it straight like this, and then again, cut that one in half. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. So out of each half, you're gonna have 4. Do the same to the other one. Cut it in half first. I don't care how you do it, as long as you get 4 slices. Don't mind my OCD. It's a Tezekian thing. Oh, by the way, I'm Larry Tezekian, hence Tez FM. I don't know what I'm gonna name my channel yet. All I know is I'm divorced, I'm bored, and I gotta do something, and I'm really bored of broadcasting, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of good Armenian dishes. Like I said, I'm Armenian. My daughter, my youngest daughter, actually, she's the only child that has kept the tradition, if you will. There's nothing worse than being, you know, proud of your heritage, okay? Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Korean, Asian, Native American, it doesn't matter where you came from, but you should be proud of where you came from. You should be proud of your heritage. And Armenians, if you don't know the history of Armenia, they were massacred 1914, I believe. In fact, they're still being massacred over there, Turkey, Azerbaijan. My daughter could tell you more about it. I don't want to get into politics, but we were the first Christian nation in the entire world. There you go. Okay, so when this is done, just chop. You're going to make, yes, I know, you're supposed to do it this way, right? I am not a chef. I just love making and preparing. Preparing to me is like half the fun. It really is, you know, because if you love what you're making and you put your heart into it, it's a labor of love. And Armenian cooking, just like Italian, Polish, any other kind of cooking from your nationality, it's all a labor of love. And the thing is that the nutritional value of this, oh my God, if you were to order this much in a store, in a restaurant, like a quarter cup to a half a cup max, you'd pay like $8 for it. So yeah. All right, these to me are just a little bit too much, so I'm just gonna go through them a little bit more just to try to get them just a little bit smaller. The smaller the better, because there's very minimal chewing in this, to be honest, and the flavor, admit it, you gotta like the flavor of parsley. But if you don't, I have witnesses here that'll tell you they didn't like parsley, but they love tabouleh, and it's because of all the flavors that meld together when you're making it. So again, just go through it. I always keep separate containers for everything, but in this case, because these have to drain, I'm going to use a colander, very fine colander, all right, like this one right here. So just take it, bring all this in, bring it in. Yeah, I didn't show you the parsley chopping. Why would I show you chopping parsley? It's boring. This is kind of boring too, but at least this is kind of important because you just got to get the sizes right. Okay, so there's that. Now, the next thing that also has to drain are the tomatoes. All right, so just 4 Romas. My daughter went to, by the way, I'm in Sainte Marie, Michigan. I live in Graham, North Carolina, but I'm here visiting and meeting my twin grandsons for the first time, and my granddaughter again, and my daughter and son-in-law. So, here we go. Of course, you know the routine on a tomato. Always core out the end. Romas are good because they tend to be less juicy, but yet retain the flavor. Chefs call me out if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm only going by what I believe. I'm not a chef. Like I said, I'm just a normal 65-year-old dude who loves Armenian food and can't afford to buy it because it's so damn expensive. So you learn how to make it, right? Further down the road, I'll show you how to make rice pilaf, boreg, which is like a spinach pie, but you can make them with meat and cheese and all kinds of stuff. Lahmacun, which is like a little round pizza with lamb and spices and all kinds of red pepper, all kinds of stuff. It's like, but it's delicious. And stuffed grape leaves, yalanchi. Those are awesome. And don't say, ew, grape leaves. Trust me, where I worked in Florida, a guy mocked me, used to call me a goat. And then I brought a grape leaf into him, and all I heard every day, you got more grape leaves? You got more grape leaves? That's the thing. You got to try food because you can't go by what's in it. You got to go by the flavor. And if you don't try food, well, then you're going to be eating fast food all your life, and shame on you because, you know. All right, so these are all cored. I will just cut one, and then we'll do a time lapse on the other. So again, all I do is I cut them in half. And then I start on the edge and I just start cutting little bits like this. Be careful, do not cut your fingers. All right, so here's half. Then when that's done, I do the same thing here, just to dice them. Make sure your knife is sharp so you don't squash the tomatoes. Unfortunately, these tomatoes are not all that red and probably not that flavorful, but by the time I'm done, it's not gonna matter. All right, let's finish this. So, put something underneath it. because that liquid's going to drain. What else I like to do, because it definitely helps in the process, is go ahead and just sprinkle some salt. Salt will absorb the moisture. And because there's two things in here, just mix them up. Add more salt. Oh, I'm also going to show you how to make tzatziki sauce down the road too. If you've ever had a gyro or a gyro, then you know what tzatziki sauce is. Okay? A little backstory. I am not a professional videographer. I'm a radio DJ by trade. And, but I like to cook. So is it really all about the production value of a video? Do you gotta have all the, or is it more about personality and the topic? You know, all right, I think that's enough. We're gonna let this sit now in that little tray I told you about, okay? And leave that there. Now next, I'm gonna do some green onions. I don't like the big green onions, but in the middle of winter in Sainte Marie, Michigan, you're probably stuck with whatever you can get. And when I say, I could literally go down the street from my daughter's house and Canada is right there. There or there. I don't know where I'm at. But literally, I think we're about a mile from Canada. The Canadian bridge that takes you to the border. All right, same thing with these. We're gonna slice them all the way, including some of the green, but not all of them. I'll save the chives for something else. If they were thinner, I would have used them. But because they're so thick, they tend to be a little tough. So let's go ahead and do this, all right? And, all right, there we go. I got two more, but I don't, judging by the amount of tomatoes and stuff, I'm gonna leave it at just 4. I think it only called for, it called for 4, but skinny ones. Oh, I decided to use the green, the chive part, because it's actually got flavor. I'm actually surprised in the middle of winter. Okay, what's next? Gotta squeeze some lemons. If I don't eat them all first. I'll be back. All right, on to the lemons. Nice lemons, eh? I'm still a kid. Don't condemn me. All right, these are seedless. Who knew they made naturally seedless? I didn't know. That's how moronic I am. But so the recipe, are you ready for that? The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of lemon juice and 4 tablespoons of olive oil. No thank you. More like a minimum of a half a cup of olive oil and a half a cup of lemon juice. But I'm gonna start with half a cup of lemon juice and a half a cup of olive oil for now, but I will add more if needed. But I'm pretty sure with all this, I used a cup and a cup, because if you look, there's, okay, here's my hand. It's a lot of parsley. And then you add in this. And then you add in the green onions, wherever the heck I place those at. I'm losing it. I don't know where I put them. Oh, right here. And then don't forget the mint leaves. We're going to do them last. But I'm keeping everything separate because there's a way to layer them. Don't know why, I'm just doing it that way, mixing them together. The juice goes on last, possibly the mint, but the mint I like to put on last and stir it because that mint will like permeate everywhere. I'll get to the olive oil in a minute. So let me go squeeze some juice, all right? Here. All right, well, you caught me. Who doesn't like to eat lemons? Let's be real. I was surprised. 4 lemons gave me a cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Don't buy the concentrate, guys. It'll work, but the flavor, it's all about flavor. It's all about pairing of flavors. Yes, I learned that from Food Network. No. Anyway, so we're down near the wire. I'm gonna go check my bulgur. Now, when I started this, if you remember, the bulgur was up to here. It's almost doubled. So you got to make sure, again, that it's all soaked. Because if it's not, has a lot more to go. So I'll be back after that soaks. Probably going to be an hour, unfortunately. But we'll continue then, okay? Be back. What I wanted to tell you, since I have to wait an hour, I don't want this to get wilted. So I'm going to do the trick I told you before. We're going to add some water to the ice, get it nice and cold. And then I'm going to lay some ice on there. And you can pour a little bit of water. It won't hurt anything, it's just cold water. And we're going to let that sit. That way I know they're not going to wilt. All right. It's been 45-50 minutes. Total time so far has been about an hour and 15 minutes of prep. This is the bulgur wheat. If you remember, it was up to here when I first started. Then it was up to here. It still wasn't soaked enough. Now it's up to here. So basically 3/4 of a cup made 2 1/3 cups. And the way you got to check it, just grab yourself some, and if it's mushy, soft, al dente, but kind of melts in your mouth, it's done. So it's done now. So we have this. We're going to have to strain this, and we're going to start adding ingredients in a bit. I do have my 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, along with my 1 cup of a little over a cup of lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice, fresh squeeze, which you know. Still got my parsley here with the ice cubes, keeping it nice and it's very crisp, very perky. Shut up. I know where your mind's going. So, let's do the mint. This is, I only can find it this way. When I lived in Indiana, I had lots of mint growing wild, well, planted in my front yard, so I would just go out and pick some. But I think it was more spearmint. This is just mint, and it's organic. I think that's the only way you can buy it, to be honest. So, we open it up. I just take some out. It's very dry, very aromatic, and I know you're thinking, ew, mint. Yeah, well, so again, the same thing here. We got to pick the leaves off because we don't want the stems because it's bitter. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now, right now. So I don't like using these. Okay, the discolored ones, because again, it's all about color. So there's still a couple of good ones, but running out. All these are stems. I don't even like using these because there's brown in it. And then of course, the trusty knife. You gotta really chop this like more than a celery, because that's what's gonna release all the flavors of the mint. Oh my God, it smells so good. If you all have ever had this before, let me know in the comments, all right? If you have a different take on how to make it, always looking to make something better. So always entertain anybody that has a twist or a different way of doing it or something that they've added. Like my daughter, she told me something she did with the rice pilaf that I never thought of. And we make good rice pilaf, but she told me that while the rice is sauteing with the noodles and stuff and you're searing it, she puts in some seasoning before she adds the chicken broth. I haven't tried it yet, but again, it's a new method and I'm always into new flavors. So as you can see, this is getting there. You just want it chopped, not dust, but you know, just chopped enough to where it's going to release all those flavors with everything else that you got going on in there. All right, and that should be good. There we go, right there, some mint. I got to find a container to put it in. I'll just throw it in here for now. It's kind of expensive. I think the mint's like, I don't know, $5 possibly. I don't remember how much. My daughter went and picked it up. All right, so now we have all the ingredients. So we're going to start assembling. And what I'm going to do first is I want you to see all the water that came out of there. Can you see that? That is why we salted and drained everything, because you don't want all that liquid in there. It just dilutes the flavor and everything. So you want to keep everything as pure as you can. Hopefully I didn't over salt, but I don't think I did. So I'm going to dump that. I'm going to dump this in here, and then I'm going to strain this in here when I finish dumping it out. So I shall be back. All right, so still draining, as you can see. There's still liquid in there, and this is again labor intensive. You got to push with your hands. Just keep pushing on that bulgur. It's like wheat germ is basically what it is, but keep pushing on this. Sometimes you just squeeze it with your hands. All right, we're going to leave that for right now. And we're going to start assembling it, okay? All right, change of plans so you can see everything. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Let's see if we can do it that way. All right, so first thing, dump all of this in there. Okay, that's done. Next, we got this. And unfortunately, I forgot to strain it. So let me take care of that now. I'm not used to doing this on camera, so you'll have to forgive me. So one moment. Okay, so got the parsley in here. I'm just going to start flattening everything out so I can get an idea. Still needs to be drained. Just kind of squeeze it out. I'm just doing the fast mode. We're getting down to some ice, but again, if you could feel this, it's so perky. And had I not put the ice on there, I got grandkids, so deal with it. It's called an Armenian family. Those of you who are Armenian, you know what I'm talking about. Same with Italian, same with Polish, same with anybody that's really into their background. So again, we've got a couple more ice cubes, get them out.
That is not nice to say.
And again, we've got some water. We're just going to take the rest of that there. All right. So that's done. Going to mix it up. I already told them we got an Armenian family. It is what it is. All right. Probably could have used a little more tomatoes, but it's all right. Now, we're going to add the green onions. I'm making a mess all over the floor, but I clean up. All right, now, this is This is the bulgur, and it is pretty well drained. I squeezed it out. Now, this is the part you don't want to put too much in, okay? Because if you put too much in, it's bulgur heavy, and if you eat a lot of it, like my son-in-law does, like all this, if I left him to his own, if I didn't take some out for my daughter and I, he'd eat the whole thing, which is, you know, it's a testimony. It makes me feel good because he likes what I make. So we're going to take this bulgur. There'll be a picture on the thumbnail. It's supposed to look like that. It's not supposed to look super white. So we're going to take this. We're just going to start sprinkling some bulgur. Probably just 2 layers, you know, 2 handfuls. And then we're going to toss it. And we're going to see how it looks after it's tossed. Again, I always soak more than I need because it's a mess. And when you're trying to finish it off and drain it, you lose about a handful. It's just the way it is. All right, now it's starting to look like it's supposed to. Okay, I'm sorry. I really got to get used to this camera. I need one above. But yeah, you can see it needs more bulgur because without it, it's just not going to have right. So we're going to do the same amount again. It called for half a cup of bulgur soaked. All right, and I'm pretty sure I kept about that much. I know I keep going off camera. Like I said, I'm not a pro. I'm a radio DJ. Now this is really starting to come together and look like the picture. In the past, I've had a habit of putting way too much bulgur in. But it's a lot of roughage, okay? You got bulgur wheat, you got the parsley, which is a lot. And you know what? I did it just right. Perfect. Just the right amount of bulgur. All right, back in the flash. Okay. Did a little cleanup. Again, OCD. Got to clean as I go, man. I just hate a messy kitchen. I know. I'm not the normal guy. Go ahead. Show your hate in the comments. I'm kidding. All right, this is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful the way it looks. Now, okay, so now for the fun part. Cup of olive oil. Maybe I won't use the whole cup, but I'm going to drizzle it. Yeah, I'm going to use the whole cup. All right. Again, just let that olive oil coat everything. Don't worry, it will not, it's extra virgin, will not have a heavy taste. And once you add that lemon juice, that fresh squeezed lemon juice, everything's going to come together. All right, now we're going to add the lemon juice, okay? About a cup of each. Stir it up. There will be juice on the bottom, but this stuff gets eaten so fast that you're never going to know it. Besides, the juice is really good to drink and good for you. Olive oil is good for the digestive tract. Makes healthy bowels. Think about it, lubrication, you know what I mean? And then the lemon juice is, well, citrus. Now, we have the mint, all right? And I'm just going to sprinkle it on, and we're going to do one more toss. Just toss that up. I don't salt it any more than I already did with the tomatoes and the cucumbers to get it dry a little bit. But now, if you look at it, isn't that pretty? It's like shiny. So this has to sit for a few hours. Needless to say, it kind of marinates. But I will do a taste test. And I'll be honest with you, okay? It's actually really good. Might need a little more olive oil. That just settled to the bottom. It's a little lemon heavy because I put a little more than a cup of lemon in it. But once this all blends together, I don't put garlic. I don't put anything because the green onions are going to push through the bulgur, and just everything's going to fuse together, and it's going to be an amazing flavor. So that's it for now. Well, for me, for you, you'll see it right away. Going to put this in another container because we need this for dinner tonight. And after it marinates, I'll do a live taste test, maybe with a family member, maybe with my granddaughter. No, probably not. So I don't like putting my kids on camera. Too many weirdos out there in YouTube land. And there's no drama on this channel. I'm not doing drama. I could care less what people say about me. I don't care about anything. I do this for me and the 1 or 2 people that may actually like this. And if I grow my channel, great. If I don't grow my channel, I don't care. Because it's not about that. Sure, I'd like to grow it. Sure, I'd like to make money on it. But there's so much more to life than that, you know? You know how many YouTubers are out there making all this money and they are miserable. I mean, miserable. You know who I'm talking about. Come on. Put it down in the comments. All right, in the fridge, in another container, in the fridge, and we'll finish up with the final product. Thanks for hanging with me so far. Appreciate it. And this is it. It's been sitting in here for about 3 hours. It's all marinated, and man, does it taste good. So thank you so much for hanging with me. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and look forward to more videos on some Armenian cooking. I'm going to stick with Armenian cooking for now, and who knows where the channel's going to go from there. In the meantime, much love. Go out to the world in peace, love one another, show compassion on one another, and most of all, just be there for each other. Until next time, TEZ'S out. Bye.